Welcome back to another episode of Trash Talk Podcast. We have a packed show today. Got some good topics for you. Nice halftime show as well with another quiz. But first of all, JJ, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and I think today we're gonna learn something.
We are gonna learn some stuff. So, what is the first topic we're talking about?
Well, the first topic is useless skills that I think it's that we either know or want to learn or would like to learn.
Not completely useless, I think.
Well,
kind of rare skills?
There's always some degree of
sensible skills, but cool skills that you could easily have that can impress people or that you can do something with, right? So, I've written down a small list of those. And the first one is ambidexterity. Like learning to do stuff with your weak hand. Just in general, because it doesn't take really any extra effort. Whenever you're doing a regular task, just do it with your weak hand.
Well, yeah, in the beginning it'll take longer and be a bit awkward, but you'll get used to it. Yeah.
Stuff, I'm talking about like brushing your teeth, shaving, everyday stuff, writing, handwriting, operating your phone. Handwriting specifically if you're not under time pressure.
Yeah. And
you can take your time to make it readable. Operating your phone.
I feel like not being under time pressure is generally a thing.
Yeah, of course, because you're practicing, right? But whenever the opportunity arises, operating your phone, operating the computer mouse.
Yes.
Right, that sort of thing.
Although computer mice are one of those things. Is it mouses or mice? I still don't know.
I'm not sure. Rodents.
It's one of those things where the object will sometimes be made specifically for one-handedness.
Yeah, there's some where the right button is actually the left button or works that way.
Yeah, but even just some of them are shaped in such a way that you can't really grip them backwards that well.
Some of them are.
Yeah, some of them are very symmetrical. But my point is, obviously, if the object you're trying to use doesn't really allow
whenever the opportunity arises, like if you're reading a book, flip the pages with the other hand, hold like bottles or mugs or whatever, right? Flip the fork and knife around your hand. Practice doing stuff with both hands. Because, well, you can always, like, say you're right-handed and you can only do something with your right hand. You can always break your arm.
Yeah.
And you're done for. Like, what you gonna do? It's always good to have that out of being able to do stuff with your left hand as well.
What he's trying to say is learn to wipe your ass with your left hand.
Correct.
Very important.
Or your right hand if you're using a left.
Yep. Yeah, but that's like you don't want to have to need help with that.
No, that's pretty horrible. That actually came up to me because I'm noticing that. I think technically right-handed. That's what I'm doing the majority of stuff with. But there's some things that I can only do with my left hand, for example.
Yes.
So for me, it's a bit of a mixed bag. It always depends on what it is. For example, the cutting, like I mentioned before, right? I've always had my knife in the left hand and the fork in the right hand. I was never able to do it the other way around.
Okay, yeah, I usually cut stuff with my right hand and then put the knife down and then put the fork in my right hand as well to then eat with it.
I can't cut with my right hand. Well, not the way. If I had like a saw and I'm sawing a log, I can have the saw in my right hand and hold the log with left. That's no problem. But I'm eating a steak. I got a knife and fork in my hand. I gotta have the fork in the right because I can't cut with the right hand. So that's one of those things. And since you mentioned use of toilet paper, I can only do that with the left hand as well.
I actually never paid attention to that.
Really?
I got no clue with which hand I wipe my ass.
Gotta pay attention to that because then you can try switching that up.
I'm pretty sure I can do either though.
Yeah, probably. Some things I can't really do with my right hand. Some things I can't do that well with my left. So that's definitely a skill that you should practice. No matter what.
Which reminds me of another thing that we can actually both do to some degree, and that is card handling.
Card flourishes. That's stuff that I wrote down.
Which includes the chalier cut, which is a one-handed cut.
One-handed cut, like generally cutting cards or shuffling the cards in a way other than just a regular overhead shuffle.
And the chalier cut, for example, I can't do well with my right hand. Mm-hmm. I can do it if I focus on it, but like with left hand, it's just automatic.
And of course, the more you practice, the better you'll get at that sort of stuff. But just being able to shuffle a deck of cards should be basic stuff for anyone who regularly plays cards.
I was about to say, it's really useful when you're playing cards.
Yeah, because it's actually
for
a good
some
method
reason,
of shuffling.
people are always surprised when you can do it.
A lot of people will be over at shuffling, which is really just cutting the deck in 5 places.
Yeah.
Which is not good shuffling at all. So that's gonna end up with the deck not being shuffled well. So if you're actually playing cards on a regular basis, learn to riffle shuffle. Go hit it on YouTube, riffle shuffle cards. You will have it down in 15 minutes. I guarantee you.
Yeah, probably.
It's not really that hard. It's not that hard. And you can go from there. So that's usually already enough for most people to declare you a wizard when you're playing poker for some reason. But you can go from there, learn more of that stuff. And that's really just a matter of practicality. The other stuff, the flourishing, the fans, and the more convoluted cuts and all that. Okay, that's just for if you're either doing like magic tricks, like card magic, or you want to show off.
Talking about showing off and shuffling, you can do the same technique with poker chips, or a similar technique, I should say. Yeah.
Well, that's not as useful because that doesn't help you with anything. But showing off, and it can show off that you're a good poker player.
Well, it can imply that you're a good poker player.
Yeah, because if you know how to handle chips, you probably play a lot of poker.
Or you just find it really fancy that you can do that.
Yeah, and you don't actually pay attention to the play. That might also be the case, but it usually implies that you are an experienced poker player. So learn some chip flourishes if you're gonna do that sort of thing. So yeah, card riffle shuffle, pretty important. Another thing that I actually wrote down is doing the Rubik's Cube, because that is similar to riffle shuffling cards or something, where it's like when you can do it and somewhat well, people will think you are Albert Einstein.
I actually can't do that. Mostly because I never really bothered.
I bet you if you sat down to really do it, you could do it completely from your head within a few hours. And once that happens, you can do it faster and faster and faster every time you try.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not like huge... You're not doing all sorts of advanced mathematics in your head.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just pattern analysis and then just acting on that.
It's just, what do I have? How do I need to turn... Like, it's just pattern recognition and memorizing some algorithms and figuring out, the order how to do stuff.
I was about to say, that's like probably one of those things you could easily teach a computer to do.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. It's not that hard. People try, they get one in their hands for a second, they have no idea how to go about it.
Yeah, of course.
They try to get it all right, and there's a systematic approach that works every time. So for the most part, right? It's not all like you don't need to complete every single side at once. I can actually do that. I'm fairly decent at it. I can do it in like 44 seconds or something is my record. But you need to complete one side, only one side first, and from there, and then you go from there. You do the sides, and then finally do the bottom.
Yeah, I know.
If you're holding it up. So
I've seen it before, but I never actually bothered to actually learn it.
There's a technique to that. So that's a very simple thing you can do like over a week. You can master over a weekend. You got a weekend off, nothing to do, learn to do the Rubik's Cube, and people will think you're a lot smarter when they see you doing it.
Yeah.
For some reason. It's not that huge, but no, that's one of those things. Let me have a look at my list to see what else I wrote down. Alright, bottle opening. Or generally party tricks, right?
Of course, that only works if the bottle doesn't have a screw lid.
Right. Well, you can open you can scroll it too.
But there's not that many fancy ways to do that, I think. I mean, the usual one is just opening with another bottle or with the table.
Yeah, or you could do a piece of paper.
Yeah, piece of paper is one of those that...
You could do it with the crate.
Sounds really impressive, but you just fold up a piece of paper and use it for leverage.
Exactly. So you can go bottle with damn near everything.
I have heard of people doing it with their teeth.
Yeah, I don't
Warning, it's not good for your teeth.
I wouldn't want to even try and do that. No interest in that. It's not like I have a lot of those bottles.
Yeah, that's one of those, like... It's so rare that I actually open one of those bottles that I never bother to actually...
When I ever get my hand onto an actual, like a bottle, typically has a screw lid, like most bottles do.
Yeah.
But I don't really do even that, right? I'd say that I get a screw lid bottle, like, once a week, and, like, a can once a week, which, of course, just clicks open.
Yeah.
And the rest of the stuff is just a water jug that filled with tap water, so there's no fancy way of opening that.
Yeah.
Right, so that doesn't happen that much, so I can't do any of that stuff. But that's actually one of the things that a lot of people can do.
Although, most of the time it's literally just the idea of leverage.
Basically all.
There's an edge. You apply leverage. That's how I do it.
Exactly. It's just some type of technique to it where you need to grip it in a certain way, and that's all that is. Another thing that works kind of that way is that I've mentioned is splitting an apple with your hands.
Yes.
Now this is a really cool thing. If people see that, they're like, "Wow, you must be incredibly strong if you do that." But you don't actually have to be super strong to split. You need to have apply some force to it. Sure, but you don't have to be like the Hulk to do it, because it depends. I've said that to you before we started recording. It depends more on the apple than on you, actually, because some apples it's somewhat easy. The apple needs to be large enough. If it's a small one, it's harder because your hands will slip off.
Yes,
and it should be even, right? So on the top, you're gonna grip it the regular way, just upside down. You grip it with the top, and put your hands into the bottom. And you just rip it apart. You don't even turn it or twist it, just rip it apart. And it works better with bigger ones and even ones, so that your hands have a good grip, so you're not slipping off. Yes. And if you do that right, it'll split perfectly in half, like perfect, like you cut it.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool one, actually.
Also,
you're not gonna need a knife.
Other things that might be cool to be able to do, or that are cool to do, is just knowing a lot of those very simple games that come up every now and again, like tic-tac-toe, rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
We got a video series on that.
Yeah.
Warning, the first one of those has kind of bad audio quality.
Yeah, those are ancient.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't hold that against us today.
Alex's gaming tips. I did those way back in the day. They must have been like 2016 or something, right?
I believe it would be 17, because 17, I don't think we had a single video in 2016.
Right. It was
because I believe we started in 2017.
It was the summer of 17. Hell, that was still days ago. Like, it was over a year ago.
Yeah,
probably ancient. So, yeah, that's always, and even not just knowing them, but being good at them and being able to easily beat people with that. The other one I wrote down is simple magic tricks. In general, just magic tricks like card magic, coin magic.
Yeah,
stuff that you can pull off at every social gathering, at a bar, for people who've never,
double lifts with a card deck.
Very simple stuff.
Very simple, and if you just know a double lift and maybe some false shuffling,
that's 90% of every magic trick.
I was about to say, you can do like a million different magic tricks just based on how you present it.
Exactly, and on performance, and that's of course just talking most of the time and making magic gestures, or just the maybe the cups and balls, or like coin stuff, shuffling coins around, and those are really, really simple, and you can just watch a tutorial on YouTube and pull that off, and people will think you are a magician, like for real, because if you don't know how it's done, maybe you had a beer or two, it's pretty impressive to people.
3-card money is always fun.
That's always just really good. Yeah, 2-card money, that's the thing.
Yeah, actually, I'm just gonna. I know that they don't need it, but I'm just going to throw out a recommendation there for people who are interested in that. Scam School.
Yeah, exactly. Scam School is a good channel for that stuff.
I mean, I don't think they need our endorsement to really get their viewership up.
But Brian Brushwood is amazing, and Scam School is a very good series. They teach you a lot of those tricks.
Yeah.
About how, winning at tic-tac-toe.
I mean, that's kind of the idea behind the channel. Is like, quick things that you can learn easily, that you can impress someone with at a bar to get free drinks. That's literally the concept of the channel.
Like, I can slice I can slice a lemon with a straw.
Yeah.
If I can do it, you buy me a beer or something.
I think it was a cigarette.
Maybe it was a
cigarette.
Because
they burn the filter and it gets really hard.
Right, yeah. Something of that sort. So, those are pretty good. Like the mathematical equations that are laid out with toothpicks.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. Or the 9 dots and connect them all with 4 straight lines. Those sort of very simple things.
I mean, a lot of those like match puzzles are really fun in general.
Exactly. So those
pretty much anything taught on that channel falls under the category of things that are cool to know.
Exactly. That you can just pull off on people to fool them, right? So those are some of the things.
Don't go on Penn and Teller fool us though with that.
No, they know what they're doing. So that's not like you walk on Penn and Teller and try to do cups and balls. It's not going to work that way. But on regular people, like regular folks that you see on the streets every day, you'll be a wizard. Like seriously, if you can perform it right, and it's not that hard to do. Just a Rubik's Cube. You wouldn't ever guess how many people have seen me do the Rubik's Cube and they're like, how the hell are you doing this? You must be a genius.
Oh, God.
And of course you sell it, right? It's like, yeah, I kind of am. Sort of thing. No, you play it down, but but in reality you make it seem like it's really, really hard, you know? It's like, oh, it's just, you explain it with a lot of mathematical terms.
Yeah.
You make it sound like it's obvious.
Yeah.
That's also another one. Explaining stuff to make it sound really, really hard, but seeming like you're trying to make it really, really obvious.
That almost feels like more of a thing for the second topic.
Yeah, which we're gonna get into. The second topic is life pro tips, or how to conduct yourself unethical sometimes. There's subreddits for all those, but we are also giving you some of those. And yeah, that would be one of them. We can mention that. We can actually get back to that one in the second topic. But we have a halftime show first. And last week, I questioned you on a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Ranging from just general knowledge, more specific knowledge, and personal stuff. And you're going to do the same thing this week. Because quizzes always come in pairs on this channel now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's not unheard of. We've done that before a lot as well.
So, you have a quiz?
Yes.
Like 10 questions or
10
something?
questions.
Okay, so let's get into it then.
When did the first episode of Avatar The Last Airbender air?
I see why you asked.
I actually, only after I just phrased that, realized. I think I had it as premiere in my notes.
Alright.
But, yeah.
That should be... I think I've heard about it. That was like pretty much on the spot like 10 or so years ago. I'm gonna say like 2007.
It was, if my notes aren't incorrect, the 21st of February 2005.
2005?
Yes.
Wow, that early? Has it been that long? Really?
Which then again brings up the question of, did they in 05 really have a 4:3 aspect ratio on normal stuff?
I don't know.
Because that always kind of bothers me when I watch Avatar. It's like the black bars on the side.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyways, that was the first question.
All right, I thought it wasn't at all. You got to watch that series, by the way, or rewatch it so we can talk about that stuff.
Have you heard of the image editing software GIMP?
I'm using that on a daily basis.
Do you know what the letters actually stand for?
GNU Image Manipulation Program?
Yes.
Alright. That was the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't expect you to know that.
Of course I do. That was easy.
What was the first Hearthstone class that I reached level 60 in?
Alright, Priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Priest. Cthulhu Priest, Big Priest, everything Priest.
How many elements are there?
As in like what? Like as in like Avatar, or as in like the periodic table?
I was trying to set you up with the Avatar thing there.
Yeah, he was like, oh yeah, 4. No, there's a buck whatever. There's water, earth, fire, and air in that, but the periodic table was like 216, and some of them are discovered or not named yet, or something of that sort. Or they fall apart too quickly because they're radioactivity, so
the problem is that there isn't a set number you can really go at. Yeah. I want to say, I actually did look something. I want to say it's around 120 because the last few are UU something, which stands for doesn't stand for like 11 or something.
Really, just 120?
I want to say, but
I know it was more than that.
The point is, it's more than 4.
Yeah, okay. I because you need to specify what you were going for there. Cool.
What is on this channel our most viewed video?
Cookie Clicker Grandma Apocalypse, episode 2. Recently changed. Recently overtook Golden Pack opening 1, and I was gonna tell you that.
Okay. Well,
you also look
the more you know. Talking about videos on our channel, and there's actually a few about that, because I just thought it was cool to ask about. Do you still remember what the first video was that we ever released?
Should have been Cookie Clicker 1.
It was Cookie Clicker 1.
Yeah, it was Cookie Clicker 1. Cookie Clicker. That was how we started.
Now, talking about first videos, the more interesting, or probably not necessarily more interesting, but definitely the harder question should be, What was the first video we released this year?
This year? Okay, I assume it wasn't a podcast, the New Year's podcast, because New Year's Eve was a Sunday. So the next Saturday wouldn't have been until a few days into the year. We didn't do Hearthstone reports back then, which would have been Sunday anyway. So it would have been a Monday, so it was likely a Hearthstone gameplay.
If the video manager wasn't giving me wrongful information there, it actually listed, and it might be that we just didn't schedule it, in which case it might list it wrong later, but it actually listed a Trash Podcast number 27 as released on January 1st at like 1:44 a.m. or something. Like shortly after midnight.
That was a Monday.
And that confused me a bit too. And then like a few hours later, like at our regular release time, it lists, which would probably be the video that should actually be there, is Life is Strange number 2.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's weird. That is weird. Gonna go back and look that up.
Talking about firsts.
More firsts?
What decks did we play in our first Boomsday Project video on this channel?
Boomsday?
Yeah.
In the first video. I know we played Pogo Hopper Rogue for sure. Not sure if it was the first one we ever played. But we did play the Hoppers.
That, also one of our most viewed videos, by the way.
Yeah, it might be that.
It's in top 5.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
The first decks we played were Mech Hunter and Token Druid.
Okay. So, alright, Token Druid, right. So, the Hopper Rogue was later?
Pre-release. That was before the expansion officially dropped.
Right, that was at the Fireside Brawl. Right, at the gathering. Dang it, yeah. That was a great recording, by the way. I recorded that on my phone.
Yeah, I also recorded that, but on my tablet, and, well, it did actually work, which I only found out later, though. Because when OBS stopped the recording, it took that ages to export from OBS.
Yeah, right, because we were sitting in a stinking bar.
Which normally just happens instantly when I'm doing it on my computer, but on my tablet I was like, why is this taking so long? And someone had just forcefully shut it down. But then actually I saw that the file was generated, but because I shut it down, it cut off. Yeah. And so there's only like 2 minutes of my set of recording or something.
Right.
Because it took it literally like 20 minutes to export 2 minutes of the video.
Facing each other in the brawl.
Yeah.
Correct. Pre-release. Yeah.
That I assumed you were going to say Pogo Hopper because that was the actual first
after
proper video, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's technically true.
Here's one that I've asked you before, and
42.
It's one of the facts that I like to point out sometimes, but I just want to see if you still know that. What Hearthstone class has the most legendary cards?
Hunter.
Yes. Because of Asimon Dread Scale.
Which they got 2 of at the Grand Tournament.
And finally...
They could have just combined both of them together in one card. It's not like that would have been overpowered.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the idea, right? You're supposed to play them together.
Yeah.
For maximum effect. Because then
the
Dread Scale won't target itself, and the Asimon also won't target itself. Yeah. So the only thing that happens is that Asimon takes 1 damage every turn, and everything except for those 2 dies.
Exactly. Pretty good.
So, final question. This one is not about Hearthstone.
$1 million question. Not about Hearthstone.
It's actually about a very similar game, though.
Magic the Gathering.
Yes. And, of course, I'm not going to ask you anything in-depth specific because you don't play that game. How many mana colors are there in Magic the Gathering?
Mana colors? There's mana colors? There's mana colors.
I feel like that's something that you could easily know even if you don't play the game.
There's mana colors? Why is there mana colors? There's different types of mana?
Yes.
That's crazy.
There's different colors of mana.
Are they valued at different prices?
No. There's certain cards require certain types of mana.
What? That's weird. I'm just gonna say like 5.
There is 5.
Yeah, that's 5. Yeah, I knew that. I was just playing. I knew it all the way. Just kidding. I didn't know it.
Do you want to guess what they are?
Blue, red, yellow, green, and purple.
Well, that was actually really close. It is blue, red, and green were correct.
Uh-huh.
And it's white and black.
White and black, alright.
But, interestingly enough, a lot of black stuff is sometimes represented as purplish.
Yeah.
For, like, graphical reasons.
Uh-huh.
The cards themselves are black, but, like, in some of the video games, like, the mana symbol for the black mana will be displayed in purple.
Why different colors?
And, of course, white and yellow aren't that far off either.
Yeah, pretty close. Why are there different colors of mana?
Well, that is a similar question as to, for Hearthstone, why are there different classes?
So does every class have different mana color?
Well, there are no classes in Magic Gathering.
So can you just play all mana colors, or do you have to pick one? And then you can only play cards that
you can play as many mana colors as you like, but as opposed to Hearthstone, you automatically get a mana crystal each turn. You have to play lands that then give you mana.
Alright.
And you can play one land per turn, so it kind of, the progression is similar if you get your lands every turn, if you draw them. But then if you're playing 5 colors, you'll have to try to figure out how to get your lands together so that you also get mana of all 5 colors.
Alright.
If you only play one color, it's very easy. You just play the basic lands from that color.
Okay.
If you have 5 colors, you might play a lot of like dual lands and some artifacts here and there that give you mana.
Okay, yeah, that still seems like a very strange game. But, alright.
It's actually a very fun game.
I recommend the South Park episode about cop magic. Just plugging that.
Yeah, sure.
It's really cool. It's really good. They're raising chickens to play Magic the Gathering at like a pro style level, like intensely.
Okay.
And they have like death matches. They do it like a mafia type of thing, right? Like Fight Club. It's like in shady bars
or like cockfighting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly.
Which is probably what they're referencing.
Yeah, in the basement, and then they have chickens playing Magic the Gathering and being really, really strong at it. So that's a halftime show. I mean, they're kind of good.
Yes.
Some of the trick questions I actually passed pretty well with the What's the Most Watched video, but I got an eye on that stuff. So, before we hit the second topic, we do have a fact of the week. We both do. And JJ, would you like to present your fact of the week?
Well, the whole debacle about die and dice?
Yes?
So, the word dice originally was the plural of the word die, but is now also an accepted singular. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, it's the more common one these days.
I always say dice.
Now, I was thinking, if the singular is die, wouldn't the original plural have probably been dies? As in D-I-E-S?
Maybe.
Well, turns out, originally it was D-Y-S, and the singular was D-Y.
Really?
And then it later changed to die to be I-E, and then dice at some point. I'm not sure if it first changed to I-E-S, and then to I-C-E, or if it directly changed, but yeah.
It all sounds like Scottish rivers, or something. Die. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, da. Okay. I always say dice. It's just dice for me. That's all I need to know. Did you know that the fastest motion of human movement is the pitch in baseball? The rotational force of the shoulder of the throwing arm of the pitching in baseball.
I did not know that.
That's a fact.
Okay.
Sports science sort of thing. That's I've seen that somewhere. And there's also a video, which is really interesting, on YouTube explaining why it's almost impossible to pitch faster than, 110 miles per hour or something like that.
Okay.
So, that's
around the normal speed of a fastball, though, right? Like 100 to 110?
That's really high. Not every pitcher hits 100. Like, the relief pitchers, the closing guys that come in for like the ninth inning and all that.
Yeah, okay, fair.
And throw like 10 pitches, 20 pitches a game. They can do that. But then they also be sitting there with their elbow in an ice pack later. So you can't keep throwing those for an entire game.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, they're 50, 60 pitches at that speed. But like over 110, I think what I don't know what the MLB record is, like 108 or 109, around that. But yeah, that's the fastest human motion in human works, apparently. So there you go. That's a fact. And we have a second topic, though.
Yeah.
Facts. Share your facts in the comments. second topic. We hinted at it already. Life pro tips. Tips to use
the thing about hinting at a second topic is that life pro tip. There is a sidebar in the picture of the podcast that actually already tells you all the topics.
Yeah, that's true. But we hinted at it in case...
Oftentimes they're also mentioned in the video titles.
In case you're blind, this podcast is blind friendly.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a podcast. There's not really too much visuals going on.
It's just, you're not seeing the nice background. Or maybe you can feel it with your feet. I don't know. There's people who do that. There's people who do that in Earthbend as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have life pro tips. Kind of a little bit going hand in hand with the skills that we talked about in the first one.
Yeah, I thought so when you came up, when you already started talking about...
You've got some written down and...
So yeah, sound smart by using fancy words.
Sound smart using fancy words. That's a really, really good one. You want to... Because two things that you want to accomplish with people is you want them to think that you're, nice, kind of friendly, basically sympathetic. But you also want them to think to be smart, right?
Mostly the latter, but sure.
But you can accomplish both by just explaining something that is really, really complicated, but trying to appear really nice about it, right? So, when they start, oh my god, how are you doing this? And you just, you really open, smile at them, tell them how you do it, and just use really, really complicated words, you're supposed to know all this, right, basically.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And they'll be, some people react to that oh god, I'm confused, I don't even know what to say. But some people will be wow, he's really smart. But, I don't get anything, but he's nice enough to try and explain it. And that's what you're looking for. So that works. Works with the Rubik's Cube really
also,
well.
Once said, as a matter of fact, I think you made a video about that too, which is not up anymore. Mm-hmm. To just use the word analogous when you're explaining something.
Oh, because... Yeah, just use the word analogous. Because that way you won't have to justify the actual parallel between something. Because people don't know what it means. In an analogous
You can just do it analogous to that,
analogous fashion. And they're okay. You walk this way, dude. Actually, I had a football coach who taught me that first when he was explaining, giving instructions for doing the warm-ups, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing stretches and stuff like that in a specific direction, and he's like, okay, he demonstrated it once, that's how you do it, and then on the way back, you do it the other way, just do it in an analogous fashion. And then he was like, that's a great word, because that way nobody questions what that actually means.
But, I mean, I have contact with that sometimes in lectures.
Yeah.
Because usually they'll have situations where it actually is analogous, though.
Yeah.
No, they're not just bullshit.
Exactly. But if they were.
Where, for example, in logic, where it's we just proved this for and. It works, the proof works analogously for or.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they don't explain the actual proof for or because it's the same fucking proof. You're just switching out and or, and every now and again there's a smaller exchange for a greater or something.
But even if they were bullshit, most people wouldn't question that.
That's true.
Because they don't want to seem stupid by questioning it, because by saying analogous, you're implying it's obvious.
Yes.
So that's one of the things, that's actually really closely related to that. So Rubik's Cube is a good one for that. Also, if you're good at stuff like math, then you can do that as well. How did that equation work out? And you just explain it the way it does work, and people who don't know math that well, they'll be like, oh my god, crazy, right? But then don't be a dick about it. That's the other thing, right? Don't be a prick about it. Pretend like you really want to be understood and tell them how it works. But then of course speak like a really pompous prick. But don't make it be noticed.
Which is to say, just pretend people are more intelligent than they actually are.
Correct. So if you got that field of expertise, that's a really good way to handle it.
That actually also reminds me of a different thing, which is it can sometimes be very helpful to just have obscure bits of knowledge to seem a lot more knowledgeable in general.
Well, yeah. Play out a Trivial Pursuit if you're knowledgeable.
Yeah.
But then again, you can't prep for that specifically.
No, but it's just a lot of... I mean, as a matter of fact, a lot of those questions in Trivial Pursuit is just...
They are
randomly bring that up in a somewhat tangentially related situation, and you'll seem smarter.
Yeah.
I have had an experience where where I've been told it seems like you know a lot of stuff just because I tend to oftentimes bring up obscure facts.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Because I know a handful of obscure facts, and when they are relevant, I just bring them up.
It's the more niche and the more...
I mean, you said it before, I waste way too much Fact of the Week material in just random conversation.
Yeah, that is true. The more detailed the stuff, the better. Like, if you ever something very, very detailed and you know that in detail, then they'll automatically assume that you know everything.
I was about to say, if you know one detail about a subject, people are just going to assume you know everything about the subject.
Exactly. So that's all you would ever have to do.
Can sometimes backfire because that's how you become the local computer expert, but,
Because then they'll be asking you, well, you know about this, so let's have a conversation about it. They don't know anything. That's a problem.
Of course, again, that's also one of those things.
Yeah.
You can't do that to someone who actually knows more about that stuff than you do.
Yeah, you can't bullshit people who are actually knowledgeable. Because they'll call out the fact that you aren't really an expert. But yeah, for novices, always works.
Yeah, there's a handful of obscure facts, and if you ever need random obscure facts, just listen to the Fact of the Week segments of all of our podcasts. Some of those are actually usable for that.
Also, really,
most of those are actually usable for that.
That's true. You can also do that if you're giving like a presentation in class or something. I have done that before, where you very intentionally look up some very complicated stuff, mention that, in the way, it's obvious, and then later, but also act like helpful. Did you understand that? Like, do you have any questions? And when they ask like what the fuck you're talking about, you explain that very minute, small detail that you specifically prepared. So as to seem super crazy smart.
Yeah, just... also, that's also, in presentations, always good to just... just mention something on the side that's not actually in the... Like, if you're having, like, a slideshow and it's not actually in there, just mention it as if it just... Something that you just thought of, like, this is kind of like that one thing that's kind of related. But, because then people will just think, he's just pulling that stuff out of his knowledge instead of having a well-researched presentation.
Exactly. You could do that. You could pull that off. You know what? You could pull it off as well as with chess.
Okay.
If you just went up to like a chess player and said one specific line that you've prepared, they'd also be like, oh yeah, that's great. Like, I guarantee you, if you told someone who knows a little bit of chess, something like, this is recorded according to the World Championship that's currently being played, so there's kind of in relation to that, but it's like, like bishop takes c6 and the Rosalimo Sicilian on move 4 is a very interesting line. People will be like, oh my god, he must be at least an IM. Like, he knows his stuff. You have no clue what I'm talking about, right?
No.
So that's a very specific opening and a very specific move that that they've played in the World Championship recently, right? And they'll be like, oh yeah, like that sort of thing, right? You can do that for almost everything if you know you're not going to be questioned on the broader context.
Yeah.
And that's
I
all that
still kind of low-key want to, at some point, go up to someone who's, like, wearing some kind of football merch and just randomly just bullshit my way through a conversation.
Yeah.
Because mostly by hanging around with you, I have picked up a lot of, like, tangential knowledge, and I do know a few random facts about football.
Start dropping Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and all that, You got some Saints stuff going on.
I was about to say, talking about that one time that the Saints were the only NFL team to successfully pull off a lateral touchdown in NFL history,
Exactly.
And then they fucked up the extra point because, of course, they did.
You got pretty in-depth knowledge. You know why Alvin Kamara is best running back in the NFL, sort of thing. Yeah, you could totally do that probably with some people. The problem is you need to have everything prepared. Once they hit you with a question that you don't have an answer prepped for, tough.
Also, that's actually another thing that you can probably use a lot. It's just I can't come up with it right now.
Yeah.
Makes people think you actually do know it. You just can't for the life of
it. I can't. I don't know. It's just I can't come up with it.
Yeah,
that's all, because that demonstrates that you have so much knowledge in your brain that there isn't even space for everything.
Well, no, but also it just suggests that you actually know it.
Yeah, of course, always that. That's generally a thing, like using the correct phrases. Something that I've recently learned is, instead of like when someone thanks you for something, you want to never say something like, "Oh, no problem." Because that implies that it might have been actually a problem. Well, it's much better to say something like, happy to help. Or always glad to help.
Yeah, okay.
So that's also a very small thing. Like, never say, oh, no problem.
I say it a lot.
No problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, just consciously try to avoid that. It makes you seem, I guess, more sympathetic or something like that. Just deploy that more often. So choosing your phrases correctly. You've written something else down as well.
Yeah, I did actually write some stuff down that we looked at before. Well, actually, one thing that's interesting is if you're parking in a spot where you shouldn't be parking, or you're like know that you're gonna overdraw your time, just putting a slip of paper under your wipers can help.
Yeah,
because they think you already got a parking ticket and you don't.
You did.
Something that probably works well for that is like a shopping receipt or something.
Yeah, probably. If they don't look too closely, or even an old ticket that you've gotten.
Yeah, of course.
Why not? They'll be like, oh yeah, that's a ticket. They might not look at the exact date. And if they do, they'll be like, I left it on there. Forgot. I just drove around with that. Happens. Fun fact, I once was like seconds away from getting a ticket.
Okay.
I was parking in college, and there's one parking space where you can only stay for an hour, which is inconvenient because lectures take longer than an hour.
Yeah, they take 90 minutes. So if you get there very late, you can technically only overstay for 15 minutes because you can pull your parking thing to the next half hour.
Yes, that's true. But generally, I was there for too long, right?
Yeah.
So I was walking outside, leaving the lecture hall, walking to parking space, and there's literally this dude, right, the police guy, standing there at the car next to mine, like on his way to the next car, already writing tickets, because the other guy was also sitting there.
I mean, it's a 1 hour parking space.
Yeah.
College students are parking there for 2 hours.
What the hell?
Everyone is getting a ticket.
I hate that parking space, but that's the only one that I could get. So he was like literally standing there, like writing this thing. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna jump in his car and get my ass out of there.
I mean, you really
before he actually got to my car. It was a matter of seconds.
Pull out the time thing, because then he can't tell how long he's been standing there.
Matter of seconds.
Yeah.
If the other guy wasn't getting a ticket, he would have gotten to my car early.
Okay.
Thanks to that guy. Took the fall for me. Great guy.
Something that I actually read, which I thought was interesting, is the idea that if people are stealing packages in your neighborhood, like Post drops off a package.
Yeah, just grabbing the Amazon packages. Yeah.
You can actually just use your cardboard box and just put trash in there and put them on your doorstep. Because then they'll just steal it, because they won't look at what it is on your doorstep. But
they'll stop after a while if they're only just getting garbage.
Exactly, which means that first of all, you're doing a good thing.
You're getting rid of the trash.
Because if people are doing that, the area is just not worth stealing packages anymore. And second of all, you're getting rid of the garbage.
Yeah, that's a win-win.
So yeah, that one I thought was really interesting.
By win-win, I mean you win twice, they don't win at all.
Well, yeah, but I mean
that's good. They're not supposed to when they steal.
I was about to say
packages.
They're thieves. They don't have to really. Yeah,
exactly. That's a really good one. So remember to do that.
Yeah,
I got a full basement full of packages as well. There's never been anyone stealing packages around where I live. But if there are, like, living like an apartment building, that's a really strong idea.
Oh, here's another one that when we looked at some stuff before came up, that is kind of clever, but also might be considered a bit douchey, is just if you don't know what to get someone for their birthday, ask,
or Christmas, as it now pertains to the current season.
Ask someone else what they're getting them, and then just say, "Oh, I've already got that."
Yeah.
And then just buy it then. So you want to get the double gifts, and you
got no idea. You got no idea. Like, what would you get that guy? I would get JJ a monster truck for Christmas. Oh, damn. Don't do that. I already got monster truck for him, and then they'll be forced to come up with something else while you now had a good idea.
Yes.
For free, and now you can go buy JJ a monster truck. I'm not getting you a monster truck. Anywhere. I'm sorry. I know you're disappointed, but I won't. Not anywhere in the near future. So that's one works well for Christmas. We should have probably announced that before Black Friday. Hope you all survived it, by the way.
Well,
happens.
Timing.
If you still got Christmas shopping to do, that's your chance. No, try that out. Do you have something else?
Pro tip: write notes in such a way you can read them.
Yeah, exactly. You can't decipher your notes. I remember telling you that, like what, an hour ago?
No. Like I wrote that. I was like, barely any of this is actual letters. Most of it's just squiggly lines. You were like, it doesn't matter if you can read it once we're doing it. It's like,
but you can. So it matters. Let me see. We're trying to do this on the air. Alright, what?
It's the first and the third one in the bottom 5 lines.
And these ones?
Yeah.
Alright. This is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, that is...
None of those are actual letters. It's just squiggly lines that vaguely look like letters.
I couldn't even tell what language this is.
You couldn't even tell what character set I'm using. Yeah, I know. That's ancient Greece. That's ancient Greek, by the way.
Yeah, that is ancient Greece. I mean, come on. What is that? What?
I could read it right after I wrote it down.
Oh yeah,
Can't read anymore. That.
What? Okay, let's try to figure this out. The first word is take.
Yes.
Take something, and then the rest is really just, I don't know. The rest is Egyptian. That's what happens a lot.
Well, it does say your as the third word.
Really?
It might be the fourth word. I'm not sure if that's 1 or 2 words.
Oh yeah. Take. That's your. That was your.
That's your.
Okay.
That seems very obvious.
I don't know. That doesn't look like a Y at all in the beginning there. We're doing this live, but hey, imagine if people were watching this by their millions now, making a fool of yourself on national live internet because you can't write. But that's behind the scenes look. That's what happens in here. Taking notes, taking minutes.
The point is, take better notes.
Take better notes. That is a life pro tip. But do it with your left hand if you're not under time pressure, or your right hand if you're left-handed, which reconnects to the first topic to train ambidexterity, which I believe is also a really cool word to use.
Yes, I mean in
Are
general.
You left-handed or right? I'm ambidextrous.
Yeah,
somewhat ambidextrous. What? I'm ambidextrous.
I mean, generally, if there is like a technical term for something, using that term over the common one just makes you sound a lot smarter.
Because you can always explain it later if the person didn't get it. Yeah. But you have the bonus points of having, that smarts of knowing that term. So try to do that as much as possible. Specifically in those circumstances. And you can do it with math, with science. So are you going to try to figure this out or what? Still working on it?
I don't think so, unless you remember what I wrote down.
Oh,
you literally, the first one you literally told me to write down.
Did I?
Yes.
Let me see the paper again. Let me try and do this on the air. I wish we could show the people a picture of this. It wouldn't help at all, but God sakes. This is really, really bad. You can see if you can find it again.
Yeah, I'm already.
But that's really, really horrible. God dang it. The Amazon boxes is actually very much readable.
Is that the last one?
No, that's the second to last one.
Oh yeah, because
you usually tell what that means. It's like you wrote the other stuff with your left hand, and this one now with your right hand.
Because the last few I did write a bit more clearly because I was like, I can't do this.
Then you should have.
I could also kind of read the second one. I don't remember what it was, but I did just talk about it. So.
Oh yeah, ask people what they got out of Christmas.
Right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. See, sometimes data takes notes in the way that even if I knew what it reads, I couldn't decipher it. Because he writes keywords that don't even really convey what he's saying. You do that a lot. That's one of your things.
Yeah. Like, my notes generally are completely unintelligible to other people.
Your notes are just bad notes.
That's not true.
You can't read your own notes.
Oh, yeah, right. It's the one about if someone asks you to sign a petition or to sign up for a charity or something.
That's a good one.
To always just tell them you're already a supporter if you don't want to talk to them, because that way the conversation is instantly over.
Yeah. PETA shows up, when you're walking down the street and there's the PETA stand. There's a bunch of people by the name of Peter. No, but the guys, the animal guys, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you want to sign this petition and donate $10 a month or whatever? And he can be like, I already do that. I'm already joining PETA. I'm already with PETA. And then they're not going to bother you about getting you to join. It's like, oh yeah, I'm already joining. And glad to help and bye.
Yeah. And also, you know what the third one says?
What?
That's the one about using different birth dates to sign up for restaurant, what was it, program something, use different birthdays from setting up to various restaurant rewards programs. Mm-hmm. So you get your a free birthday meal all the flipping time.
I can't. I still can't read what it says here, but it doesn't matter.
So knowing the context, I probably can. Let's see. What does
the thing is that while he's trying to decipher is that some restaurants or places like that have certain programs where when it's your birthday, you get stuff for free. So the idea is that you sign up to either the same restaurant with different accounts or different restaurants with different birth dates.
I don't think it was that. I think it's something else that it says there because
exactly, it's weird. So you can get free stuff several times a year.
Oh yeah, the one it says here is that websites oftentimes will have overlays that will ask you to sign up or sometimes even pay for the service, and there is, first of all...
Often newspaper websites.
There is, first of all, plugins for browsers that can just remove those overlays, and second of all, as the original tip that I read stated, you can also just stop loading of the page right before it loads the overlay, because it's usually the last thing they load.
Exactly.
That's what it says, just remove overlays. That's what it says on there.
Wow. That's unintelligible.
I mean, I just got it just from reading that.
Yeah, because you remembered what it was.
No, I was trying to decipher, and I was like, the first word somewhat clearly says remove.
It does not say somewhat clearly.
And I was like, what is the other thing I'm trying to say? And then I was like, oh, right, that's not an A, that's an O, because I tried to actually get it to...
I need to teach you a lesson in handwriting. My handwriting is very pretty if I want it to be.
Well, mine is very much readable if I want it to be.
Very readable, but I actually have a capability of very, very beautiful handwriting. That is a fact.
My handwriting is decent if I try to, but I just don't usually bother.
I can have really nice handwriting.
You should see some of the homework I did during the first semester.
I shouldn't.
Because you can actually really easily tell what it's saying, and my tables are actually somewhat tidy and everything.
I'm not sure if I want to see your homework, but no. But that's, I mean, I got nice handwriting if I want to. I also have somewhat messy, but still, if it's messy, it's still very much readable, and that stuff is just...
My messy handwriting usually is also readable, but this time I just didn't bother at all.
This was horrible, and it's only readable to you, and only if you just wrote it down. So next time, just stick to writing stuff on the computer. How about that? Is that a deal?
Nah. I'll just write it in such a way that I can read it on paper.
You always say that. Been saying that for years.
Taking notes on paper is way superior.
It's not. It's wasting paper and a pen or pencil. Why is that superior? You're like the computer guy.
Yeah.
You do everything on a computer. Why is taking notes? That's totally true. Why is taking notes on paper not superior? Why is that the one thing that you're doing?
I mean, there is probably a few reasons for that. One would just be that for me, it's just a comfortable thing to just write with a pen. So,
really?
I don't actually write with pens that much. And also, it doesn't take up any screen space. It doesn't mean that I have to click around during the podcast, for example, which also sometimes a thing.
There's a wide open screen over
I know.
Come on. We used to have podcast notes every single time.
I know.
And the fact is that we always used to have podcast notes on screen. Very much readable and easily to decipher. And now...
But those notes would also usually only state what the topics were.
If we needed something like that, then we would have written it down. And now, a year and a half into this thing, we got JJ dropping just caricatures in pencil. I can't tell what it means. Half hour in. That's the way we flatterize this podcast. But we're gonna have to end it anyway. Thank you for listening. But we do have a song of the week.
Yes, we do.
And by the way, before we get into that, we hope the people have too, because there's a viewer music share playlist on our channel. It's linked in the description of this video.
As a matter of fact, it's linked in the description of every podcast. Yeah. If you do find a podcast that does not have it, just complain in the comments.
Exactly. And we'll add it then. But that's where you can add your own song of the week.
Yes.
Just drop a YouTube link, very simple, with a playlist. And if you did so...
There's technically not even a limit for one a week. You could just add
songs. Yeah, you can add as
to
many as you want to. And if there's good songs there, we'll go back and look at those, and if they're good, we're going to call them out on the podcast, and that will help us a lot, which will be great. But we both have songs.
We do both
of the week. So what is your song of this particular week?
My song of the week is The Sacred Vow by Hammerfall.
I've never heard of that song. I've heard of the band.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised. You just generally don't like that band too much. So
not that great.
It's not unsurprising that you haven't heard of this particular song.
They had a good cover. They have a good song. But The Sacred Vow. Alright, cool. I'm not perfectly sure if I haven't used this before. As a matter of fact, I might have. But if I have, it's your fault.
I know.
For not updating the spreadsheet. My song of the week is Hanging High by Last Days of April. Not sure if I've used it.
I'm fairly certain you have not.
You don't think I have? Would be good. Would be good if I haven't. It's a wonderful song. It's a really good song. You know it? Like, you know which one?
I don't think I've heard of this song in my life ever. So that's why I'm also fairly certain you didn't use it.
Oh yeah, you have. It's in the music share. It's been there for days and years and months.
Okay.
Not years, but months. Yeah, we can listen to it as we get off the air. It's a really beautiful song. But thank you for listening to Trash Talk Podcast. It's always the best thing to listen to, of course. And we are going to see you next Saturday. If you're going to turn into another podcast, leave a like on this one. But we also do stuff during the week, of course. A lot of Hearthstone content. We have the new expansion being announced and card releases on a regular basis now.
The return of the Discard Warlock. More on that tomorrow.
That's not a fact. The Discard Warlock was never there, so it can't return, and it won't even show up now. So yeah, but tomorrow, he's correct. Hearthstone report, a lot of new card reviews that were revealed during this week, so be sure to tune in for that if you're interested in Hearthstone.
Although I feel like some of those cards are kind of overkill.
They are. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. Think so? Maybe. I don't know.
I was referencing...
Yeah, I know you were. Thank you for listening to Trash Talk Podcast. I gotta get out of here. JJ.
That's it.
That's it.